Hello dear friends, thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be colouring this cute image from Coloured Caramel's Sweet Spring Gnomes, and I'm mostly going to be using markers. I'm starting with this set of touch markers that I have, and I'll be supplementing the colours with various ones as I go along. I thought I'd do a bit of a colour and chat as I started, and I'm doing some off camera. And I'm not going to finish this on camera because I think I'm going to, it will just be too long. And I can speed some of the things up, but I don't know how fond you are of sped up colouring pages. Let me know in the comments whether you like to see the colouring sped up or if you'd prefer real time with gaps in it so that you can actually see. I'm quite a slow colorist, so these things, even a simple, relatively simple page like this takes me quite a long time. So I will do some extra bits on top afterwards. I've got this little piece of plastic, that sort of stretch plastic you put over food there that I was using on a watercolor page to try and create texture. And now it's getting in my way, so I need to get rid of it. I've decided I wanted to use the one skin tone in the touch markers and didn't work, so I've decided to bring out my Ohuhu skin tone markers. Every time I color with these, I realize yet again how much I love the Ohuhu markers. I'm a very strange, I think there are a few of us that are like this. When we've got something we like, I tend to pack it away because I'm scared I'm going to use it up. It's so silly, rather to use what you like, but I'm so afraid I'll use them up and I won't be able to afford more. But they color so smoothly. Excuse me, I'm just having a sip of tea. I'm not doing a realistic coloring at all on this because it's a very whimsical kind of illustration. It's not meant to be realistic or anything. So I'm just using my markers, and then I'll do a little bit of pencil on top if it's necessary, or glitter or whatever comes to mind. We've been having a bit of a hard time here just recently. We have, I don't know, I think most of you know that I live in South Africa, and we're having a lot of problems with the energy supply to all of our homes and throughout the entire country. And we have some solar power, some solar panels on our roof. And so sometimes the house is run by the solar panels, and other times it's run by the power grid. But the other day, I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning and I heard this noise on the roof, and I thought it was a very large cat or something. My husband gets up early every morning, and so then I thought to myself, oh, I wonder if he's fallen or something. So I got up and I went through to the study where he goes, and he was busy coming through to check that I was all right. So then we both thought it must have been an animal, and I went back to sleep and he started doing whatever he does. And then later on in the day, we noticed that there was absolutely no energy being put out from the solar panels. So we went downstairs and then we saw the whole solar thing was off. So then we thought that it was broken. And then a little bit later, the pennies started dropping, and we remembered the noise we'd heard on the roof. And we went outside to look, and sure enough, some intruders had been on our roof and stolen 2 of the panels and cut the wires, so none of them were working. So we were a bit horrified, and we were kind of thinking, what should we do? How are we going to get them reconnected? And we'd, in any case, just were in the process of ordering an inverter, which is something that changes the electricity system. It stores power in batteries, and then you can use that battery power in your house when the power goes out, and we had ordered some more solar panels to be put up so that more could go in there, and so that it's not, I mean, so that we can sort of help the universe a little bit and do our ecological best, as it were. And so we thought, well, we'll just wait. Then 2 mornings later, while I'd got up at about 2 or 3 in the morning or something to use the bathroom, and I heard this noise, and my heart stopped, and I thought, oh my word, they're on the roof again. And it's very frightening because there's a hang of a lot of violence in our country. There's very little respect for life. If you challenge somebody that's robbing you or doing anything, they just tend to stick a knife in you. It's a frightening reality that we live in at the moment. And so I woke my husband up and I said, I'm going to quietly phone our security company to come. And my husband got up, and I sort of begged him not to go outside because I didn't want him to challenge anybody. We're both in our senior years as well, so, you know, one needs to be aware that we're not as strong and young as we once were. So I phoned the security company, and they came around, and I was sort of trying to stare out a window, and as they came around the corner, I saw this guy jump off the one wall carrying a solar panel, and the security guy, he was behind a bush, so the security guy didn't see him, and he obviously saw the security service, and he ran and dropped the panel. So that panel was broken. But then we decided, oh dear, no, we're going to have to do something drastic. So we went out and we bought some very sharp, like metal teeth things that my husband then secured to the wall. He had to drill into the brick wall to where we'd seen them jump down. And so then for about 3 nights, everything seemed okay again. And then I woke up again at about 2 or 3 in the morning, and I heard a noise again. And I phoned the security people again, and we couldn't see anything, but the security guys came in and they checked our whole garden, and they jumped into the neighbor's garden to check under bushes, and we looked on the roof and we saw another panel had gone missing, and then we found that panel they'd found another way of getting onto the roof from the back, which is very frightening for me because it's right over my bedroom. And they'd stolen that. That panel was not broken. They'd tried to hide it, so obviously planning to come back. And they'd loosened the next one. And so we had that one, and we were sort of debating what to do because it's quite a high wall. And my husband then thought, okay, he'll try and put some sharp teeth on that wall again. And before we'd gotten around to do that, we were so exhausted because after that, the following night, we had our grandchildren staying over, and I was so anxious and worried about intruders with the little ones in the house. And I was sleeping in the bed with my youngest grandson so that he wasn't homesick or anything. And my husband was also so tired that we just slept right through. But we saw the next morning they'd stolen another panel. So now we've managed to put some more metal teeth up on the high wall, and we hope that that will deter them. But it's really very daunting. You just actually don't know what to do. I haven't phoned the police. There's nothing that they will do about it anyway. The panels are not insured, so there's like little point in phoning the police. But so that's been going on, and it's been playing on my mind. So forgive me if I sound a bit distracted. I'm now going to carry on with this picture and do the little bow, and I decided I'm going to go for a very contrasting color and use blues. Thanks so much to those of you that very kindly helped me out with the little puffy sleeve arm. I don't know why I couldn't see that. It really fascinates me that it's so often in a picture that I actually can't figure out what the image is, and yet when it's colored it's just obvious. But yeah, I don't know. It looked to me when I was looking at that, until somebody said it's a puffy sleeve on a dress and an arm. Until that moment, I had thought this little girl, this little gnome girl, had 3 arms. So it was quite weird. I felt a bit of a twit once I realized what it was, but I'm so grateful to you guys for answering. And so, with that in mind, talking about the community chat and everything, would you guys like for me to put up a poll and ask about possibly a color along for Easter, choice of some books, and maybe I can do another channel color along that I can break into 2 or 3 parts or something? Let me know if that's something that interests you, and if I have more than 3 comments, then I'll do it. If I don't get more than 3 comments, then I'll presume there's not enough people to make it something that you're interested in. So please just comment below this video and let me know if that's something that would interest you. So I didn't record myself finishing that bow. I actually changed the color I was using from the touch markers to a slightly darker one. And then I've hauled out my Copics to do this table top in a darker brown. I find the touch markers are they're quite streaky. They're a very inexpensive marker, and that's probably why. They work quite nicely in Amazon books where the paper sort of absorbs them, but I printed this on paper that I usually use for markers, which is, it's quite smooth and slightly glossy. It's like a photo paper almost. I think it's HP printing for color printing, so that it gives you that sort of photo feel to it. And so it has kind of no tooth, and normally this is great for markers because then you can blend on it, and it's slick and they fall on it well. But the touch markers just are very streaky over large areas, so I decided to pull out some of my Copics there again. Lovely markers that I own, that I've spent a fortune on, and they sit packed away because I'm scared they'll run out. I need to invest in refills when they do run out and stop being so jolly scared of running out of things. I do enjoy using my Copics though. They feel so nice. I like the feel of the nib, of this brush nib. It's not too soft and not too stiff. It's just right. It's like the 3 bears. It's just right. I must say, looking at this little girl baking makes me feel very much like making a cake again. I haven't baked in a while. When the children were little, I used to bake every Friday. I always made sure we had either homemade cookies or a nice cake, or I baked bread every week. Twice a week I baked my own bread. It was always whole wheat bread, and I had it down to, it was like I didn't even need a recipe. I bread with yeast, and I loved baking bread, and the kids baked with me. They used to come and knead bread with me. It was really nice and sort of warm and cozy thing to do together as a family. I loved doing that. I made Play-Doh when I had the grandchildren around the other day because I had some expired flour. I mean, that shows I'm just not baking anymore, whereas I used to run out of flour all the time. So I decided to carry this blue color through a little bit into the bowls and things. And this marker is a Blick marker. I have a couple of Blick alcohol markers that I really like. They're very nice markers. They're to me a good similarity as Ohuhu and Copic. I don't think I'll be getting more there because I find it difficult to get Blick things. They do send to South Africa, but I have to have them couriered here, and it's expensive getting from Amazon, but to get the courier from Blick is about 4 times the shipping price of Amazon shipping. Amazon manages, because they ship so many things, they have an Amazon global shipping thing that, so if I buy a book for, say, $6.99, I'll pay usually $16 in shipping for that. Whereas if I bought something for $6.99 at Blick, I would pay about $26 shipping for that. So you can understand that it's not really a sort of a viable thing for me. I do have a friend going to the States to see her daughter. Her daughter lives in the States, and she's going to be having a baby. So my friend's going to spend some time with her. So I may twist her arm to bring a couple of things, but if I do, it would have to be light things. So one of the things I want that you can only get at Blick are those black velvet silver brushes that I love so much for my watercolor. So I might get a backup of a size 2 brush, which she can just fit down the side of a suitcase without too much problem. So this here is Jelly Roll Moonlight, and oh my goodness, I do just love these. They're so creamy and they flow so well. I don't know what is in the solution that Jelly Roll uses for their moonlight markers, but they run like metallic markers. They're just fabulous. I mean, you don't have to struggle. All other markers you end up struggling a little bit with. So I've done that. Now what shall I do next? I think I might do a pale pink sugar icing or something on the one cookie. So I'm going to try this pale pink. This is an R00 Copic, don't know. I was watching Lavella's colouring, had a video up with a haul, a big haul. Well, it was a haul covering about 3 or 4 months, so colouring books. And I got so keen and enabled by her that I've actually ordered 2 books from Amazon Japan, and I'm quite excited. They're 2 Korean books, so I'm quite excited. I know Amazon Japan usually delivers quite quickly. I probably shouldn't have, because budgets-wise, I shouldn't be ordering things right now, but you know what it's like. I'm going to just zoom in on this. Sorry, I'm having such a random chat with everybody today. My mind is all over the show. Something that just popped into my head that I thought I'd ask you guys' opinions about is Facebook and Instagram. I used to spend a lot of time on Facebook. I was helping to manage a group. I had my own group, which I actually closed after a while because it became just too much for me. And but I was like the main manager of a different group, and then that also just got to me after a while. And so now I'm an admin there, and I pop in, but I find days will go by and I don't actually even log onto Facebook anymore. I used not to go onto Instagram at all, and then friends in the colouring community kind of encouraged me and said, yes, you'll find so much more on Instagram. And I must admit, the more time I spend on there, and now the very lovely Be Cozy kind of helped me get used to Instagram, because I didn't actually know how to do things. And I was chatting to Bee on, we did a colour along together, so we were emailing each other, and she kind of explained to me very kindly how the hashtags work and everything. I'm sure if there are other people of retirement age like I am, you also struggle a little bit with some of the social media stuff. One does need somebody to explain it to you. And so she kindly explained all the things to me, and then I started doing that, and bit by bit I've been adding more hashtags, and then I discovered the lovely at Passionista Colouring and at Nurma, Nurma Colouring, who host, well, I don't know, I think host is the wrong word, but they list a load of hashtags at the beginning of every month. So then I discovered all these great things and gave me sort of some nice ideas about things that I'd want to do in the month, or kind of encouraged me. So now I find myself popping onto Instagram so much more than I used to. But again, I don't go on it every day. I find social media does get a little bit exhausting. And I was just wondering how the rest of you feel. I'd love to hear some chatty comments to tell me how you feel. Are you also in a retirement age, or are you younger, and do you find it's part of your lifestyle? Because I think younger people, that is part of the lifestyle. Just on that note, when I was teaching in about 2005, 2006, when cell phones were fairly new, a BlackBerry was like a big deal. To have a BlackBerry was like a big deal. And most people had these little Nokias and things. One used cell phones to make a call or to send an SMS. WhatsApp and such sort of messaging systems were not on my horizon then yet. And I used to have this boys a cappella singing group, and a lot of them were in a hostel, and I'd take them out for pizza and stuff, and it was fun because they chatted, and I used to love the repartee and just sitting and being part of it all. And it was fun. So I would take them out for pizza, and I'd stand them to the pizzas and things like that. And then they all left school, they finished school, and time moved on, and I had another boys a cappella group. And so I thought, okay, well, let me be nice to this lot as well. But I'd say by now it was probably 2010, and WhatsApp and all of that were a thing. And I took them out for pizza just to treat them, and everybody sat with their noses on their phones, and I felt quite offended, actually. And I'm sure they were not intending to be rude, but it was so weird. And I mean, I find I will, my husband and I will occasionally go out to a restaurant or something, and we'll see people sitting at a table together and being on their phones, and that, as an older person, I find so rude, but it seems to be the way of things. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. So I'm adding some little gel pen sprinkles and dots here to make the icing look a bit more exciting. And I think I'm probably coming towards the end of this video, because I think it's going to be quite long. I hope you've enjoyed joining me for a chat, and I wish that we really could have some little cupcakes and cherry gâteau, or whatever that is. I think that's a cherry gâteau. So I'm going to color the rest of this image off camera, and I will share it with you at the end of the month, or the beginning of April, when I show all of my completed pages. I'm sorry my desktop is in such a mess, but I thought I should show what it's looking like so far. And I think I'll maybe try and add some sort of wall paneling or something behind, or otherwise just a plain color. Not sure, maybe a peachy color or something as the wall in the background. So thanks so much for watching and for joining me for this color and chat, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye bye now.